Hi, I'm Anne Boyer, and I'm the author of The Undying, which won the Pulitzer Prize in nonfiction in 2020. So The Undying is an account of my experience with highly aggressive triple-negative breast cancer, diagnosed a couple of weeks after I turned 41. I wanted to write a book about the experience, but I wanted to write a new kind of book that allowed for a different perspective on cancer than the one that I had received. When I had cancer, I had it in a world in which we were expected to be relentlessly, oppressively positive about the experience, in which everything was supposed to happen with a green smoothie and a glowing smile. And I knew from my own experience that cancer didn't feel like that for me, and it didn't feel like that for other people. So I set out both to understand my own experience and to give an account of this, but also to understand the social, economic, and political systems that created the experience of cancer in the way that we felt it in the 21st century. So I wanted to write a book that took into account what it's like to be sick in the age of information, when your diagnosis comes to you in your emails or on the screen, when your support comes to you in groups of strangers on Facebook or email list, when you spend late nights watching vloggers who have your same sickness tell the stories of their lives, their deaths. And so The Undying became a kind of memoir, but something more than memoir. A book that's supposed to give a broad account of our moment and of the history of disease altogether. Well, yeah, I mean, so this is one of the things that began to really upset me during my experience with cancer, was somehow this kind of relentless competition that had come through capitalist culture, a kind of win at all cost, fight against everyone, extremely alienated version of life. It made it so as if people believed that to survive cancer was to be a victor in a war, and that those who died were somehow losers, or that they had somehow asked for the cancer, or asked for their own death. And I was shocked when I was diagnosed that people came up to me and they said, well, you know, we know you'll live because, you know, you're a fighter, or you're a special kind of person. Or even tell me stories of people they knew who died of cancer, who they believed somehow had wanted to die or did something wrong. And this was what happened to them. But cancer doesn't work like that. Cancer doesn't really care about your attitude, and it doesn't like take an account of every, you know, hot dog you ever ate. Instead, it comes from a complex mix of causes, and from a shared environment in which the common stuff we need to live. Our food, our water, our air, our soil are increasingly polluted by industrialization, and the things we need to survive being ill, the connections and the care, are increasingly limited, so that our levels of stress social stress, can also imperil survival. Right, and so in speaking to people in Mexico, I realized that this culture of like relentless positivity around cancer is not unique to the United States, but that there's people that I spoke to here who either had cancer or cared for a loved one with cancer, had felt the same kind of social pressure, the same kind of really limited and oppressive language around their illness. And I think this makes sense because we live in a global society in which, despite cultural differences, some of the structures that come through neoliberal capitalism, come through the political and social media world, those don't just stop at a border, or they don't just stop at a language, but they can spread through all the structures of life, even Mexican life, which has I think a greater sense of a community bond and caring for one another, that alienation is still possible. Oh. Well, I can maybe describe my book in 3 words, but I don't know if these are 3 words that will make anyone want to read it. No, I'll say it. So the 3 words are, at least 2 of them are words of warning. So sad and difficult. But also the 3rd, I think, is also as important, which is beautiful.